Hello and welcome to When Will It End? It's a movie podcast where I, Josh, and my dear friend Charles, we watch the movies. We start with one. We go all the way to and Hobbs and Shaw.
Why not?
We go from Fast and Furious to Hobbs and Shaw, the first time the buddies hang out together. And what a time they have, the movie. Oh, it's very good. We really enjoyed it, and top marks. Okay.
I just want to briefly. I know we have a whole thing. I think we are gonna do a good episode. I'm pretty sure of it.
Oh yeah. Look, good movie, lots to talk about.
But I just want to. Can we just bask, or what's the opposite of basking? Like, what's spending time in a place that doesn't exist?
That sucks.
Yeah, like we just spent a lot of time in a place that sucked, and like we could have been spending this time. This was supposed to be the weekend we were going to hang out together.
Yeah.
And go to the fucking movie theater and see the 9th Fast and the Furious movie.
Well, no, this weekend I was going to be playing shows in Tokyo, Japan with heroes and friends from across the pond that I was looking forward to with every fiber of my being. So no, that was not this weekend. But
you're right.
Yes.
We're ahead of the game.
In a perfect world, we would have been chortling as we skipped and hopped our way down to the movie theater, bought our tickets, maybe had a big old tub of popcorn.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I can't. Of course, we would have had that big tub.
What is that? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
No,
of course, I have that big tub. Just call me a fat piece of shit.
No, I would have had the big tub too.
Ooh, Josh is gonna have the big tub.
Oh, shut up!
I want
the big tub. You look great, man. The color.
No, I look exhausted. I look like a dead man.
I'd say
this is a weekend day.
Get some new light bulbs. You're looking a little bit sick. I think just
most
because
people don't see me like this.
Yeah, I'm seeing. But I'm saying if you think you look exhausted, it might just be the light. You have that sort of.
Charles, since this whole thing started, people have been asking me, should I get new light bulbs in my room? And Charles. Yeah, I'm thinking I gotta get new light bulbs in this room. That's from John Wick. Okay. So we liked this movie. It was good. Anything else you want to say about it?
Well, you mentioned John Wick. Like, this is the guy that started John Wick.
Yeah, he should stop now.
Obviously, he was not the person that really was like the main mastermind. He just had his name on it. But yeah, this is like more coming after an Atomic Blonde. Or whatever else this fucking idiot did.
Yeah, big ups to this guy, because you were like, you saw Atomic Blonde? And I thought really hard, and I was like, yes, that's. I went to a movie theater and I paid for a ticket. I watched that movie, and then life went on, and almost every trace of Atomic Blonde faded away. You were like, James McAvoy's in that. I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
I think so. We never bothered to check because it really didn't matter, but we have images of a James on the wet asphalt, I think.
That's Charlize Theron in that movie?
Yeah.
The movie has a really shitty 80s aesthetic, and everything else about it is so profoundly forgettable, it is almost an achievement. Yeah. That being said, we just watched, genuinely one of the worst movies I've seen in a while, as far as a giant sucking void, just an absence.
Well,
like a flavored absence, like a fake watermelon nothing.
I don't know. I mean, so you texted me right before we started the record, and you're like, all right, get ready and have a list of things that you did while watching this movie.
No, hold on. I that was an audible that I called in the middle of this watch, because at a certain point I was like, oh, I don't give a shit about this. Like I am. We just watched. This is our 9th film in this series. Our 9th film, Charles.
I know, this is big.
And I was checked out. It turns out that this was the one that broke me. This wasn't even supposed to. We even talked about should we do Hobbs and Shaw? Well, look, we have to.
And we were like, no, we shouldn't fucking do Hobbs and Shaw. It's not really a
Hold on, you fucking brought this. This was your idea.
I'm sorry. Back in the beginning, before COVID, we were like, should we bother doing Hobbs and Shaw? We're like, no, we got 9. 9's huge anyway, and it's not really a part of the series. Let's just maybe do it as a bonus episode. We'll do it later. I don't know, but let's just stick to the original franchise, because we tried Puss in Boots. And that was we realized spin-off shit maybe doesn't belong in.
We peaked with the Shrek movies. This shit sucks.
That
No,
could
but
be.
this episode is the COVID experience in a nutshell. We had a really exciting plan. We worked really hard in our timing for this year. We had this whole structure, and it was shattered. And now we've trotted out this fucking donkey to get like just. This was. I literally don't want to talk about this.
I respect that you brought up the calendar because, like, you know, it's so fucking hard to schedule anything. We both have very different lives, and like we like really did a great job in like, all right, let's do these 4 or 5 movie series because new movies are coming out. We're gonna make sure we have those weekends free. You fucking planned
it's
out.
fucked. Charles, everyone knows it's fucked. I just want to get through this part of the episode so fast it is agonizing. This is
part?
a compromise. Well, just getting through this. This movie was bad. I literally don't want to talk about it. In the middle of the movie, I called an audible where I said, Charles, I'm going to see what I can get done during this time. And if you'll permit me, I wanted to share with you a few things that I got done while Hobbs and Shaw played in the room while I drank seltzer.
And you know what? If you also watched this movie and you also did things, let us know what you did while you watched Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
Hashtag what I did while I watched Hobbs and Shaw. Just use that one.
So I learned how to write a limerick, and I wrote a limerick.
Cool.
Okay, so I think we all know and love limericks. You know, it's one of these things that, look, the president may change, okay? I mean, it's superficial. The deep state controls the country.
Oh, yeah.
The weather might go through its cycles. Pop music, you know, the fads, the day. These things change, Charles. But limericks, them shit's been holding on for centuries. People love a limerick.
That's true. My dad loved a limerick. My brother loved a limerick. I think that's... Well, anyway, I want to hear yours.
Members of your immediate family. That's a big statistic, okay?
Yeah, the two.
So I was like, look, I'm a college-educated, award-winning journalist, and I'm sitting here with nary an idea of the structure of a limerick. So Charles, if you'll permit me...
Is this a bit?
I think like most people, I loosely knew there once was a girl from Nantucket kind of, setup. But did I know that it was an AABBA structure?
Sure. Everyone knows it's an AABBA structure.
I don't believe that to be common knowledge. I really don't. I think you're rather making the ass of me right now.
Wow.
I'm being vulnerable. I'm being vulnerable, you piece of shit.
So okay, I'll let you, maybe I just grew up in a limerick crazed household where every morning they're like, let's limerick. AABBA. And we're like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. My dad would do this.
He'd shake you awake in the middle of the night and say,
da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. That's a limerick.
Okay. So I wrote a limerick. This is a limerick. I don't know if there's a titling convention. I didn't think of a title for it. Please don't give me shit about it.
I do know the titling convention.
What is it?
The title of a limerick is the first line of the limerick.
Okay, in that case, this limerick is called, "And Hobbs and Shaw are heroes too." In Hobbs and Shaw are heroes too, smirk and grimace without the crew. From Samoa to London, these dunces be blunderin', while we miss Dom and sit here feeling blue. I think I kind of I didn't.
Where did you learn this?
I didn't say it was a great limerick. I said I wrote a limerick.
Well, so it's not just AABBA. It's also a.
The structure of the A and B are different. So in Hobbs and Shaw are heroes too, smirk and grimace without the crew, while we miss Dom and sit here feeling blue.
What you're missing is the pentameter.
That's the
or whatever. It's not a pentameter.
No.
What's the meter? It's the da 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 da.
It has to be a similar meter. In Hobbs and Shaw are heroes too, smirk and grimace without the crew. From Samoa to London, these dunces be blunderin'. While we, I didn't say it was the best limerick.
No, there once was a man from Nantucket.
Did you say it was terrible? Did you just say it was terrible?
Yeah, it sucks.
You just said it was terrible. Shaw.
Yeah, this is bad. Don't shake your head at me.
I'm making an effort. I'm making an effort to expand my abilities.
Yeah.
To increase my knowledge.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm in a bad space after watching that movie. I'm feeling like we've talked many times about how I'm Shaw and you're Hobbs. I'm sort of feeling that.
Movie, but now I hate myself. Hobbs is so fucking shitty. Hobbs sucks nuts. He's awful. The prop of like he's got a daughter, so he doesn't hate women, coupled with the hey, I may want to dump a rancid load of Samoan cum in your sister, but I respect her as a strong woman. Like fuck off. Fucking gross.
Well, it's weird too because I actually didn't even get the vibe that he wanted to fuck her. Like, he just had the vibe that he wanted to control her.
Well,
which is way worse.
In that awful conversation with the wonderful Jason Statham, who it turns out I can watch do anything.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I respect your cum dumpster sister so much that I'll only let her ride this sweet piece of Samoan meat if she wants to, because I respect her, because she's a girl boss.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the tone here? This is predatory. It's sociopathic. It's predatory. It's gross. Like, I don't know. I hated that. I hated that so much. The Rock sucks. Without a Dom, the problem with Statham is that Statham is like a hermetically sealed, like, museum piece. He's just perfect Statham. He's like a piece of jerky. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Dom
exactly
is like a filet mignon. He's tender. He's delicate. You have to work it to get it right.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like...
In order to understand the Dom, you also have to have lost your significant other in a brutal gunfight, say.
Well, hold on. She was given amnesia.
No, I'm talking about Elena,
back.
not Letty.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant Letty.
But
yeah,
that was the other example I was going to say. To understand the Dom,
right,
you have to shoot harpoons at trucks for a few years and then get blown up by a rival gang and lose your memory, but then come to understand Dom again and realize that you always understand the Dom. Things like that.
Well, there's a Dom inside us all, and there's a Dom at the end of my limerick, as you may recall from the final line. Well, we miss Dom and sit here feeling blue.
So the final line of a limerick is usually has sort of like a turn where you like it's a ooh wasn't that fun? Didn't expect that. Sort of like, I don't know. The end of this movie was pretty predictable.
It's cool that your part-time job is shitting all over my one limerick.
Dude, I don't have a fucking job
fun.
right now. This
That's
is my
true.
full-time job.
Hey, here's something else I got done during this shit-ass movie. Here's 2 words you can spell from Vanessa Kirby. Abrasives and bearskins.
So these are letters in Vanessa Kirby's name?
Yeah, you can spell those 2 words out of letters in Vanessa Kirby's name. I found a website that does reverse word scrambling.
Okay.
Because I tried doing this myself, and it was one of the saddest experiences I've ever had by myself.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, again, this is something that I have a lot of practice with. Like, when I came over to your house last, Jesus, that was so long ago.
A lifetime ago.
I forgot the fuck you were doing, but I sat down and did the jumble from the comics, the funny papers. They have the jumble, they have the crypto quip, they have the crossword puzzle. I just did all 3.
Crypto quip could be like a white rapper name for you.
But yeah, the jumble's a hard thing. And
the jumble's fucked up. You can spend hours doing that.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did.
Oh, it's a
You're like,
nightmare.
Charles, we got to fucking watch what were we watching? Some Terminator shit or...
Oh, probably a really good movie.
Yeah.
Do you know how embarrassing it is? People ask me like what movie I'm watching tonight, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching Hobbs Shaw by myself.
Well, you know what? Your mistake. Can I just point out your mistake? When
Communicating with people.
People ask me what I'm watching tonight, I go, you know what, Governor? I'm watching the new Hobbs Shaw movie.
Bloody hell, mate.
And everyone just leaves me alone.
Okay. So we've covered 2 things so far. I wrote a limerick. I learned a limerick. I read a limerick. It was okay. I looked into Vanessa Kirby's name. Top 5 non-COVID-19 deaths I don't want to experience by Josh Landis. Ready?
Wait, is this another limerick?
No, this is just a list.
Just a listicle.
Yeah. It's just 5 ways I don't want to die that are not COVID related.
I'm really sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, please.
I'm very sorry. I just have some experience with this.
Right.
I used to run social media for a nonprofit company in Boston area. And when you're making listicles, you should choose numbers that are a little like under... I mean, now they're all more used because people did this so much, but you should do like 8 things or...
Okay. So is 7 obvious? But you think... Okay, 8.
7's fine.
Right.
Yeah, 7's good.
I can...
Just don't divide... Nothing divisible by 5, really.
Okay, I'll add a 6th one. I can't think of a million. Okay, well, maybe we'll brainstorm a 6th one together.
Sure,
okay?
Let's hear it.
Here's number 1, and this one I can't stress enough. Anything involving torture.
Wait, so I thought these were COVID-related deaths.
No. You know...
Can you just... What's the name of the listicle again?
I may not like Hobbs and Shaw. I might find it visually uninteresting. I might find literally every location a GoldenEye level. I may not even like Idris Elba, who is delightful, which is crazy. It's crazy that a movie would do this to me. But one thing I know for sure, Charles, is that what I said to you explicitly earlier was non-COVID related deaths. Because the point is, we're all afraid of dying with a ventilator shoved into our lungs while phlegm fills up our body like a What's some of the great stuff Ryan Reynolds says in that movie? Like taking off a silk kimono in a hurricane about skin melting.
That was a good line.
I do like how they shovel all of the pop culture references to Reynolds, like a sad clown.
Wasn't it just Game of Thrones? Was there anything else?
There's like 4 Game of Thrones jokes.
Which is really weird.
And like, the idea of like humanizing The Rock by being like, The Rock's got guilty pleasures just like us. This like, muscle-bound freak who's been a larger-than-life superhero figure for like 30 years. Where like he also watches HBO prestige television. Like fucking.
But who cares? Obviously he does. Everyone does. It's not even like.
It's not right. Like you would never do this to Dom in a million years. You wouldn't do this to Brian in a million years. Also, because Paul Walker's dead.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons you wouldn't do this to any other character except for The Rock, and it just shows how lazy he's. He's just like a vacuum for whatever works in the Fast series in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, you want to hear this listicle, but I also I totally agree that The Rock and Statham. This is why spin-off movies about big characters without the rest. Like the whole time I was like, wait, they're going to Samoa, and yet they could just literally call the 8 superheroes that they just did the last thing with. Okay, but anyway, regardless of that stupid plot
it's strained enough being like, we don't want to bring Brian and Mia back into it. Like that makes like the end of fucking 8 where Dom names his son after Brian, who's like, Brian can't make it. He's busy with the kid. It's like, it's pretty fucking weird.
Brian would make that. He would make it.
Right, of course.
It's like, and it's
a Corona with Dom on a rooftop. Come on, they're grilling
break.
it. They're grilling up the meat.
We'd all make
Imagine
it.
you being at the fucking Fast thing and like, sorry, Dom, can I have a soy dog?
And he'd say yes.
You crazy man. Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, while we were talking, that gave me enough time to think of a 6th way I don't want to die.
I do just want to. I agree that The Rock works. He was like my MVP in one of them, I think in 5. And like he works as a secondary character.
Yeah.
He does not work he just doesn't work. And that's like Jason Statham works. Shaw works still. And yet he's fucking, the whole script is so tethered to him getting into little cat fights with The Rock. It's fucking sad, man.
They lean the whole movie on that dynamic, and it's just from note one, just not an interesting movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. But here's something I want to say. Top 6 non-COVID-19 related deaths I don't want to experience. So these are non-COVID deaths. We're all afraid of dying from the current disease, but there's a lot of other horrible ways to die. I thought I'd think of a few of them. Okay, 1, anything involving torture, like...
Dude,
just kill me. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I want this to be on the record.
Yes.
You want names? I'll give you names. You want loved ones? You can take them. I don't care. I will give you a list of addresses before we even start and be like, here's the list. Check it a couple times. If I got I will cross-reference any questions you have. Don't torture me.
I'm sure this is in a movie, but I'm the same. I would like, if I were ever in a torture situation, I'd be like, all right, you can put down the tools. Anything. I will give you anything you want to know.
Well, it's important for us to get this on the record now, because then later when people are like, oh, did you hear about Josh and Charles? They gave up names. And then they'll be like, yeah, but to be fair, they did say many years ago that they would. This is not a surprise.
It's on a free podcast, not even behind a paywall. They just told you outright. And this is the thing. I would give them everything. I would also become a double agent. I would.
Oh my God.
Anything to avoid torture. I would.
If you hurt me just a little bit, I would be so upset by that. Like just a minor. You could hit me a couple times, and I'd be like completely like at a loss. It doesn't take that much to rattle me. So.
I don't know why I've been thinking about this lately, but there was a torture scene in this, and I was thinking a few days ago how like. Movies don't get torture right. There's so many ways you can torture a person, and almost every scene in torture is electricity, stabbing, but like literally if you just like fucking took a hammer to a man's penis.
Right, okay, so we were talking about this during the movie via text. This movie features one of these completely fucking useless, boring torture scenes where our 2 jacked up jocks are strapped to some sort of device getting shocked. It sucks. It's so boring. I was thinking about... I had this experience living at home with my parents where I walked in and my dad watching that scene in the Daniel Craig James Bond where he's just getting his little nuts clobbered.
Yes.
like, full clobbering time, R.I.P. my nutsack, nut destruction.
And here's the thing where movies as a whole actually diminish that scene for me because I'm so used to torture scenes being ineffective that, like, because I didn't, I guess, maybe see his balls get smashed, I was just like, all right, just more torture. But, like, when you actually think about it,
I find that scene incredibly effective.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
I think it's well acted, but, like, you're right.
It's good.
In a scene like that, and I pointed this out to you, that's a PG-13 movie, okay?
Yeah.
But in Hobbs and Shaw, because I'm certain The Rock under no circumstance would ever allow himself to be emasculated. It's just like you're just left with like, oh, you're shocking the big muscle bound gorilla man. Oh no, I sure hope the shocking doesn't get to him. Like, I want to see my heroes broken and humiliated and defeated and challenged. And this movie, it's just like they just throw smoke cloud after smoke cloud in their path. They just burst through it as if it's impressive, and it sucks.
Another good torture that I would probably do if I were in leading a torture division. All you get to eat is shit. That's it.
Yeah, that shit.
Like for months, all you eat is shit. I don't give a
right.
That's it. There you go. That's your meals forever. Yeah. That would suck.
Yeah, I think on day 2, I'd be like, all right, here's my...
You'd make it through day 1?
I mean, I guess you have to, but don't think about it. Because when people...
No, you don't have to.
No, because people will be like, well, look, he did eat shit that one time. And you'll be like, yeah... But here's the thing: you could just get through the first day without eating, maybe, and then be like, "Okay, real talk. I don't want to." Like, I'm just saying, you need to like put up a front. Like, you watch most of these movies, and like it starts with like the punching and stuff, and you're like, "Okay, I get it. Okay, you've punched me. Congrats, you win." It hurt. I hated it when you punched me, and now any information you've ever wanted is now yours. Okay, we can't spend all day talking about torture.
Yes,
all right,
we can.
I will say. I rewatched The Death of Stalin this weekend, and that movie effortlessly, in a comedy, conveys the nightmare of torture in a way that is more profound than anything in this piece of shit, Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw, lazy. The screenplay ruined. Like, I feel like Vanessa Kirby rules, Statham rules, Mirren rules, Idris Elba rules. There's so much good shit that could have been for this movie.
Are you noticing the theme here? Rule Britannia is it's England. Let's go the Queen and let's have some tea.
Is that the thing? Another thing you learned, that Britannia is another word for the United Kingdom?
I did. Okay, the second death I don't want to experience is burning to death, because think about how embarrassing it must be to be like, oh, I'm literally like I'm like on fire.
Yeah,
this is humiliating.
It sucks. I know, and there's nothing you can like do. There's nothing anyone else can do. You're just like, guys.
Yeah, and then because you're trying to put the fire out, and you're like, this is not ending well.
Yeah,
because like unlike other deaths, I think at a certain point, even if you got through it, you're like, okay, well, I'm now the Elephant Man. This shit sucks.
That's true.
Right.
So even if you survive it, it's a death you don't want to experience.
It's a twofer, yeah. It's like the torture thing. It's like, once you've tortured me enough, you should just kill me, right? I mean, like, what am I going to do? Spend the rest of my life waiting to get tortured again?
That'll fuck you up.
You see Little Dieter Needs to Fly, the Herzog movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, yeah, like, this is my house. I have like 8 years worth of food underneath it. There's a window in every room. Like it's just like, Jesus Christ. We can't all be like rugged Little Dieter.
No. Oh my God. Can
number 3, I don't want to drown. That shit just seems awful.
So... we were talking about this the other day too. We were like joking about waterboarding, because that's what we're at right now in our culture. Is that just waterboarding seems like a fun thing to joke about in my household.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Younger, the Perfect Storm has like scenes where he's actually like, I think he claims that he talked to people that survived drowning, but I don't know. I feel like even if you survive drowning, there's no way to like really experience what it is to like to die from the drowning. Right.
Like, I imagine my lungs filling up and looking around underwater. And the worst part would be if I like saw like a fish, like some dumb, stupid fish, just completely at home being like, what's the matter? And like, this shit, never mind, man. You're not going to get it. This fucking sucks for me.
Can I come out with something else here?
Please. This is a safe space.
In the same way that if I were ever to get into a torture situation, I would just give it all up. I also would like to come out here and maybe make a pact with you.
Okay, I like a pact.
Yeah, no more going in the ocean?
Oh, I mean, for sure. You know me. I've been on the record about this for a long time. The ocean is a mass grave, a sewer system, an orgy. It's disgusting. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a fucking sex dungeon dumpster graveyard. It sucks. And there's things, as you pointed out, like fish would just laugh at you. Like, I know
Oh my
they wouldn't
God.
actually laugh, but they would laugh in their own way as you drown to death. They love that shit.
That would be humiliating.
It's
Yeah.
psychotic. That place sucks.
I've been snorkeling and I've like had that
What?
experience where you snorkel just a little too far and all of a sudden you're like in outer space on Mars, like in Doctor Strange or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, we've only seen 10% of the ocean. Who the fuck wants to see more? Okay.
I don't.
James Cameron's a freak. We need to leave him down there.
Yes. Yes. This is what I'm saying. Like, jails should be abolished. Just like rich, powerful, rapist women haters that make bad films. Send him to fucking ocean. Send him to outer space. I don't care. Get him out of here. Those are two.
Remember
great
that
places.
Kristen Stewart movie that no one saw? She had a tough 2019.
Oh, Underwater. I saw Underwater.
Right, but Underwater and Charlie's Angels last year, that's a terrible year. Those are two
forgot she
movies
was-
that evaporated.
Well, Underwater wasn't good. And I think
But worse, no one talked about it. It came and went.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw the trailer, you saw it, and like it's as though it never happened.
you know, most of the reason why I saw it was that she's wearing a bra in it that I like really want. And I was hoping that by watching the movie I'd see like a tag. And you know what, guys? There is a happy story. After Google searching for months, I finally discovered the brand of the bra that she wears. It's a little out of my price range now, but I hope to one day own that bra.
You lack the same budget of an Underwater in this case, in the bra
Yeah,
case.
it's like an $80 bra. I don't know. Is that I've never purchased a bra, but I feel like $80 for basically an accessory for me that I would wear, say, under some overalls or
Yeah,
maybe just to the beach.
sure.
Not worth it.
But, you know, we all did get a look into your budgeting system, which was, I think, helpful for everyone listening. So thank you for that.
I did plunk down a hot $28 on a Bernie shirt, which finally came. Took 2 months. That's all right. I understand.
Sorry, a socialist not delivering on his promises. Yeah, Charles. My friend Mr. History Book taught me that. You fucking idiot. No, I watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire this week, and there's some styles in that. I don't really have like a seaside cliff cloak.
Yeah.
And in that movie, there's some great cloak action, some good like coats, but like the cloak, I'm like, I need a flowy cloak.
I think that's the new. Yeah, that's going to be the new thing. Is like a
floak.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want one. I definitely want
Yeah.
one. Not like a Jedi robe, but like maybe not even a hood, but yeah.
Sorry, did you say a Jedi robe?
Yeah, I think that's already a thing. I think people wear
Okay,
Jedi
hold on.
robes.
Charles, this is gonna. I'm so sorry. This is gonna blow your mind. I want to get through my list of horrible deaths, but I did also work on a list of my 10 favorite Star Wars moments, and I really want to share it with you.
Wow, this is great. I'm so glad we
Yeah.
watched Hobbs and Shaw because these are some really wonderful lists.
Remember the scene where they got in an argument, then they fought all those guys, and then they got another argument. and
Which
they fought all
one?
the men, and it was so good.
Got to narrow
Okay.
it down.
Number 4. Let's try to move through these quickly. I think you'll agree with these. I don't want to be killed by a wild animal because the shit that I will say out loud to the animal, like, will be so embarrassing. Like, you know, famously Herzog watches the Timothy Treadwell mauling video in Grizzly Man, and he was like, "It was very bad. No one should ever see this thing. No good. Yuck, yuck." If that video was me, he'd be like, "It was very embarrassing for the young man." He said he pleaded with the bear. He said, "Bear, no, please stop it. Good bear, be a good bear. No, 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 no." Like I would just come off like much like a child. I'd be like, "Please, Mr. Mountain Lion." I'd say like something like that, and I can't live knowing that my final words were like pleading with an absolute moron.
Okay, I think this is where the lists start to differ for us. I think 1, 2, and 3 are like right on for the both of us. But yeah, here like I think it would be painful, but not in the same way that the others are. And I think that
Are you fucking kidding?
as a vegan, I think that would be the way out. I think that's my
Hold on.
preferred way out.
You're telling me like a scavenger type or a predator type who's like eating you, not to take you out of your misery, but to like eat parts of you while like, you know, it's trying to incapacitate you to feast on you, not to like take you out of pain. I think it'd be horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it would hurt, definitely. I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt.
But your sheer nobility and respect for animal kind would carry you through. Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, I think that's the way my preferred. That's like number one way.
Number 5, I don't want to be killed by you.
What? Oh, I almost started crying.
It'd be sad. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my caveat. If it's a baller ass death, like, you know, where we're at the very end of an adventure movie, and I'm like, Charles, looks like my dance ticket's been punched by the good Lord Jesus, and I'll be dancing a little tango with him up in heaven. So why don't you go ahead and pull that on trigger and send me off to my big old dance date with Jeebus? Then that'd be cool.
I don't think I would do it, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you'd be a coward. You'd be a coward.
Speaking of dancing, though, I'm the scene where Hobbs captures Vanessa Kirby and then is like,
gross.
I got one question for you. Do you like to dance? And she's like, what, the Macarena? What, you mean the hosey
which
posey?
Is sick, because like, go fuck yourself, dude. This shit, like,
what does that even
dumbass
mean?
Yeah.
Did he write that?
Ever the tango? It takes two. Like, everything that The Rock says in this, from the like bullshit woke bay, like, okay, he has different zones that are terrible. One, The Rock as a woke bay sucks. Clearly, he hates women and is a piece of, like, he just is like such like a chauvinistic idiot.
I don't think he hates women. I think he like actually believes that his chauvinism is good for them.
I mean, he calls women sweetie in all these movies. Like, just that whole basic thing of, like, bursting into rooms and being like, listen up, sweetie. I don't know. I hate that shit. Okay, whenever he's trying to be like, and we've talked about this, the beauty of a Vin Diesel performance that I've been trying to impress upon you is that Vin is playing his own game. Like, it's kind of like, I talk often about how I love that in Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze plays a vegetarian warrior poet. Just because, like, at that time, it was cool to be like, this guy's a free thinker.
Yeah.
He's got his own ideas. And it's like, yeah, this vegetarian poet warrior is the best bouncer in Oklahoma. I don't know. Just like shit like that rules. It's so funny and awesome. And in the Fast movies, the fact that Dom really has his own convoluted agenda that's all about, like, nobility and family and respect.
DVD
players protecting their essence. And then you have The Rock, who's just like, listen up, dumb nuts. I'm fucking big and beautiful, and I'll kill you with my friggin' pinky. So shut the fuck up before I take a shit over your fat fucking face. And that's the tone the entire time. And it's not charming, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
Jesus, it sucks. Which leads me to number 6 on my list. I don't want to be killed by The Rock. I would hate to give him the pleasure.
Okay, so it's me and then The Rock. Cool.
Yeah.
The Rock is also, like, that's why the last movie I don't think really worked for me, 8, because it tried to, like, do that perversion of the hero where, like, family, 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 and then we're come to 8 and we're like, what if it's not family? And then we spent a whole fucking 2 hours with, like, Dom trying to go against himself.
You understand nothing of Dom. Nothing. The one thing
we already got through that. Yeah, I've never.
The one thing he would superficially betray family for is a deeper level of familial love.
His bastard
so you don't know
child,
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, but I'm saying, like, the reason I brought that up is that The Rock has been a fucking wishy-washy flim-flam, whatever you need, you plug him in. In the first one, he's a cop, but then he becomes a criminal. And the second one, he's supposed to treat them like they're criminals, but then he doesn't. And then in the third one he's in, I don't even remember.
They're just a team at that point. At that point,
right.
It's all collapsed like a...
So, like his identity has become less and less and less to the point where he has his whole movie devoted to him. Half of the movie is just about him, and we don't even know who the fuck he is anymore. And they try to invent something about him, and it doesn't fit in with any of the 3 other versions that we've had from him before.
Yeah, Hobbs is a bad character, and The Rock is very annoying at this point. Okay, here's notable moms in cinema. We're recording this on Mother's Day. Sorry to date it, but let's do some moms in cinema. Susan Sarandon in Speed Racer. She's phenomenal. Kathy Bates in Waterboy. She is transcendent in that performance, calling football foosball for 2 hours. I'm kidding. There's no way the movie's 2 hours long. That's
tight 90, I think.
Good acting. Anakin's mom in Phantom Menace.
Wow, that's a powerful.
It's an amazing performance, and she says stuff like, "Good luck on the racing, Annie." And
I think she also there's that famous line where she says, "It's okay, I'll keep being a slave."
Well, there's that great moment where Qui-Gon is like, "Look, I'm a telepathic warrior ninja, and I can control minds and kill people extremely easily, but I'm not about to liberate a slave without being deeply respectful of slavery rules, kid.
Yeah.
So while I cheated to win you as an object in a race, I would not deign to offend the good people of Tatooine by just stealing your mother, a common slave."
That's why Star Wars is so fucking good.
Good movies. Lupita Nyong'o in Us. I think she's a great mom in that. I think I like the movie a lot. She's great in it.
Cool picks.
And my number 5 pick, of course, Anne Hathaway in Serenity. She'll do anything for that kid. She'll even let Jason Clarke beat her with a belt and then let Matthew McConaughey thrust fuck her in a rainy boat just in an effort to protect their son. That's motherhood at its finest. I think if you love mothers, you're going to want to watch a little movie called Serenity.
You could just plug anything in there, and Josh, if you love hot dogs, you got to watch a little movie called Serenity.
Called Point Break.
That's true.
That's a hot dog ass film. Well, let me ask you this: did you like Hobbs' mom and Hobbs and Shaw? Who cares?
Yeah, I think that was my answer. Who cares?
You do anything for your mom today?
My mom, no, I mean, her birthday's the 7th. So we sort of go through this every year. And every year I do something different because I'm very bad at being a son. Sometimes I call her twice. Sometimes I call her once. Sometimes I call her 0 times. It's really like my mom goes through a fucking rough ride in the first week of May.
I like that you keep her on her toes.
Yeah. I mean,
that'll keep her young at heart and mind, you know?
Yeah, keeping her scared and nervous and anxious for a week or 2 at a time every year. It's
that's beautiful.
Yeah. I know, but actually we did do something. We in the spirit of COVID-19 celebration of birthdays and Mother's Day, my brother and his girlfriend, my sister and her boyfriend. This is complicated. My brother and his girlfriend.
Your sister is married now.
Oh my God! Yeah, thank you. My sister and
you weren't invited or something.
Yeah,
it seemed weird.
It was really strange. She texted, so she was like, "I'm gonna get married, but there's not gonna be a wedding, so don't worry about it." And then like a week later, she's like, "Oh, we are gonna get married, but still don't worry about it if you can't come."
That is the polite way to not invite a loved one.
Right, but then it turned out to be an impolite way to not demand that I be there, even though she, I think, wanted me to be there. It was so fucking complicated.
Look, moral of the story is, if you want Charles to be at a wedding, just ask him. If you don't, just tell him.
Right. Really don't ask me, because if you ask me, I'll still be like, meh. But if you want me to be there, you should just be like, Charles, I really want you to be at this wedding. I'll be, all right.
Look, these are the rules for Charles being at your wedding. And if you want Charles to be your wedding listener, just email the show. We'll get him out there.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have to know you. I really don't. Honestly, I think like I'd like going to weddings for strangers more than friends.
Yeah.
It's just who I am, though.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, also, we do have another mother in my house, so that's exciting. Yeah. My dog, my 1A dog, Wink, we are pretty sure that she has birthed puppies, so we lavished her with treats and joy and love, because why not? She's a mother.
So I don't want to wait too much longer before we start this list. I think this is going to be a longer episode than normal, I think, just because, look, we've got a lot to talk about. I spent some time during this, our watch of Hobbs and Shaw, assembling the 10 greatest moments in Star Wars. Okay?
That's like what most people spend maybe years of their life figuring it out.
Well, I'll level with you. I picked a couple of these a while ago and was looking for a reason to use them. So
finish the list.
Yeah, I was like, I'll use this time productively, having accomplished, this is the first thing I did. I did this, then I did the Limerick, then I found abrasives and bearskins and Vanessa Kirby's name, then I thought of Ways I Don't Want to Die, then I thought of Moms in Cinema, I wrote a list of movies you can watch instead of Hobbs and Shaw, which is just Southland Tales and Mission Impossible Fallout.
Vanessa Kirby's in Fallout, right?
And she's great. She's so much better in a movie that serves her so much better.
And she's Fallout. Good in this. And that's she was great in Fallout. I sort of just makes me want to watch all of her movies. Yeah,
I mean, I have to say, she soldiers through this with a a lot of charm in a movie that lacks charm, like is overwhelmingly charmless.
She's like great where like scenes where The Rock is like doing his stupid eyebrow thing or where nothing is happening and where no one is really acting anymore. She still is acting. And it's like really nice to watch someone still do the thing they're supposed to do in the midst of a fucking childish fuck up.
Right, and then to watch that knowing that within her name you can find the word bearskins or
Right.
abrasives.
Oh my God.
This is a good
It's like a little
show.
Easter egg.
Okay, so I also just typed the phrase, remember how cool Halo was.
Right.
Remember that
That's
shit when Halo came out?
a list unto itself. Yeah, dude. I didn't have an Xbox. So I had to wait, and I finally played it when it came on PC. I played the shit out of that game. Fucking Capture the Flag. Halo Capture the Flag.
Yeah, no.
I wasted so much time. That game's fucking ruled.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those memories that's that one map where you're just in the canyon or whatever.
Yes.
And there's the two bunkers. Yeah, that shit, like to losers like me and Charles, that is, I remember that better than I remember much of elementary school, I think, at this point.
I remember Warcraft 3, Red Faction.
Right. Sure.
And,
oh, my God. Yeah.
Like, I used to play hours of Red Faction online.
The good
so
old
fucking
days.
cool. One of the first games to have like just honestly one of the only games to have destructible environments, like fully destructible environments. So
Yeah.
much fun. Get the railgun out, bam, blast a hole right through the wall.
And that's the problem with this fucking movie, this shit ass movies. It's like watching The Rock play Call of Duty or something. It's like, this sucks. This could not be less interesting.
Yeah, like one of the ones from the bad studio, not Activision.
Yeah,
the other one
not
that
the
makes
good one.
the bad version of Call of Duty.
Look, our fans have been waiting for this, and I did the work. It's time to get into it, Charles. And
We're doing
I
the
would
top
say,
10 Star Wars.
Listener, buckle up. We're going to go through the top 10 Star Wars moments, and we're going to get live reactions from Charles. Let's start with number 10. Charles, start the clock.
Do we want a ticking clock?
Start
I'll
the
give you a
clock.
fucking ticking clock.
Okay. It's going now. At this point, listeners, it's going. The clock has started. No, don't, no. Edit one in. Shut up. Stop it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to fucking make the noise yourself. I want you to act like an editor or whatever it is you do for this podcast. I'm EP. Get us the fucking ticking clock. Jesus Christ. Number 10. We all remember the moment when Han Solo runs into his old friend Jabba the Hutt at Mos Eisley and steps on his tail, and they have a conversation. and we all go,
that brings joy back.
This is probably going to come back to us. We're probably going to see this friendly fat fellow later.
Yeah.
That's a good moment. I love it.
What a great moment.
You may remember when you watch the movie Star Wars, one of the most beloved pieces of fiction of the last century. The scene that we often go back to in that iconic first film is when Harrison Ford is walking around what looks like an empty room talking at something, which in the movie resembles a screensaver from a Windows 98. That is a great moment in movies.
And that's what Lucas did so well, was that he was making a movie for adults, but he would sprinkle in a little of that nonsense that kids really love.
Charles, I'm happy you mentioned that because number 9.
Oh yeah?
Number 9, I think we all remember at the end of Return of the Jedi when our heroes, oh God, where to start? Oh, the adventures in the stars, the fighting of the sabers, and it's so good. But at the end, there's this little scene, and not everyone remembers this from the movie, when all the characters come together and they dance and sing with the Ewoks, the little fellas who helped them out on the place. And that to me, how do you finish off a trilogy? It's Shakespearean. You end things with dances. This is what Shakespeare did in Shakespearean times.
Sure, whatever. They named a time after him. They must have had dancing.
Right. And I think it's nice that George Lucas, in what I can only imagine was a Shakespearean homage to the Bard.
Yeah.
They all dance with the Ewoks, and you're like, this is good. This is pretty good. It's good.
I mean, I feel like, what was it for like 15 years? That's how all movies ended, right?
Yeah, Ewoks showed up, and then a party got going. It's so nice because all the stuff happened, and then everyone sort of is like, we did it. and they have like a party about it, and it's nice. I think it's a nice moment.
Every movie should end that. Even if I was wrong about every movie doing that, like that's how you should know the movie's about to be over.
Yeah,
so you can get your empty tub of popcorn off the floor.
Big old
if you feel like dancing, you can start dancing. I don't give a shit. But like this should be a signal. We should have signals in our movies telling us when we should stop caring about the thing that we're just watching.
And dancing, especially with Ewoks, is a great cue for that.
I mean, I felt like there was a Ewok dancing scene after 10 minutes of this last one we just watched.
This movie felt like mostly Ewok dancing, the movie.
Yeah, actually, that was not a doubt. That's very true.
Okay, number 8, and this is younger viewers, maybe close your ears for a minute. When Luke and Leia exchange a little kiss, I think we all remember that. You know what I'm talking about? I think we all remember the little kiss. Mwah. Mwah. A little kiss for Luke and Leia. And Han's like, brother man, you just done kissed your sister.
He didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't know that. None of us did.
They had to wait till we were younger then. The dancing Ewok scene before they knew. Wait, is that really? That's how the movie ends, right? Return of the Jedi is like, oh, by the way, she's your sister.
Yeah, and then it freeze frames on Mark Hamill's face, and then the credits roll over that. He's like, "Whoa?"
I'm gonna take a little screenshot of that. Oh, there he is. There's Luke.
No, I'm not holding that face for an extended period of time. And then Werewolves of London starts playing by Warren Zevon, and that's the end of Star Wars. Okay, so here's number 7. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
I will say your video is cut out.
Oh, that's just because I was trying to take a screenshot of your silly face, but I just turned my phone off by accident.
I'm Mark friggin' Hamill.
Not going to try that again.
Okay, number 7 I think was an emotional moment for everybody watching Solo.
Wait, did I miss a bunch, or are we counting down?
We're counting down from 10, because number 1 is a big one.
Jesus.
It's big. So number 7, freaking Han Solo, the handsome smuggle man, he meets the big hair dude in a prison in Solo.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this is one of these things where when you're watching Solo for the first time, like me, I was unfamiliar with the other films, and I met the large man. His name was Chewbacca, and I said, that's a lovely name. But Han goes, I can't call you Chewbacca every friggin' time. I guess I better think of a gall-dang nickname. Oh, I know. How about Chewie? And you're like, that scans. That's a good nickname.
You know what? This reminds me of a scene from Hobbs and Shaw. At the very end when they're beating up Idris Elba.
Oh God, yeah.
And
Black Superman.
They can't figure out how to do it. They punch him, nothing happens, they get punched, they get kicked. Oh, it's a fucking nightmare.
It's such a good scene. It's raining, I think.
Yeah, it's pouring. Oh my God, it actually looks like it's
wet. Guys,
it gets so dark.
You wouldn't friggin' believe how wet it gets.
They realize after Jason Statham gets punched in the face, little Lucas Hobbs has time to hit him with a piece of helicopter. And then, rather than just beating the shit out of Idris Elba right then and there, they go to a corner and go, you know what? If I take a punch and you punch him, and if I take a punch and you punch him, we can punch him together. I'll edit
It's a really good
it's
moment.
It's really great because we didn't figure that out. While watching this movie, we could never possibly have figured out how they were going to do it.
A lot of the movie, we're told repeatedly by multiple characters that they're just not going to be able to work together.
Never.
It's just it is off the table, my friend.
But there is a little link between that last great scene from Star Wars and this one.
The Chewbacca scene where Han goes, Chewbacca, I can't call you Chewbacca every single friggin' time. I guess I'll call you a shorter version of it. How about Chewie?
I like this Jack Nicholson Han Solo that you're pulling out here.
Yeah, and then Chewie finishes a cigarette and goes, that'll do.
Well, yeah, at the end when the credits are just about to roll, Jason Statham and The Rock are having another one of their beautiful battles of the wit. Verbal assaults, and The Rock calls Jason Statham Mini-Me, and he calls him Robin, I think, and then Statham goes, oh ho ho, but maybe you are a Chewbacca.
Yeah, that did happen in the movie.
It's really good.
That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to warn you right now. There's no more of my picks come from the original trilogy.
Good. Fuck
Yeah,
that place.
Right, we've covered all the good stuff from those movies.
Wait, Solo's not from the original trilogy either.
No, technically, I looked into this. Technically speaking, no.
I'm glad you looked into it.
It's a different one, yeah. Okay, so number 6 comes from Return of the Skywalkers, and I'll say it with me. We made a new little friend. He's so small.
Yeah.
Babu Frick. Babu Frick. It's good. You know, JJ is he's a bit of a wild man, and you never know what he's going to pull off in these crazy flicks. And in this one, he's like, I made a little man. He's so small.
He's fucking amazing.
He fixed the robot.
Josh, I'm not going to let you spoil Babu Frick for me. He is maybe my favorite element of the entire Star Wars universe.
Well, you know, I don't think it's speaking out of turn to say that he's literally the only good thing in a movie that feels endless.
Well, I'm saying he's just like maybe it's because he's surrounded by such shit, that whole movie, but I think he's the greatest thing to ever appear in a Star Wars movie.
When you look at him, do you think of the frog from the ring ding 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 ring ding 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 ding, you know, the crazy frog? Ring ding 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 bam 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 bam.
Not sure what that is.
Ring ding ding bam 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 bam. The little frog, the crazy frog.
From what?
He was just a cultural archetype. You don't ask who was JFK, okay? Who was Martin Luther King? We don't know anymore. Crazy Frog.
Okay.
I like to move it.
So was Crazy Frog friends with JFK and Martin Luther King?
Well, he was created in 2005 by actor and playwright Eric Vernqvist.
Huh.
And he's Swedish, which is fucked up.
Wait, the frog's Swedish?
The frog, well, was created by a Swede, so I guess his origins are listed as Gothenburg. So he's still active, which is good to read on Wikipedia. He's part of the Eurodance genre. Boom, beep, 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 boom, boom, beep, boom, beep, beep, boom, beep, beep, beep. Okay, number 5, and this is a scene where I think we all got a little emotional. Okay, so famously in Rise of the Skywalker, guys, they go to the planet where they have there's the festival that we all loved so much, and and they go to they're looking for the knife, and they go into the sand, and there's a worm, and they got to get the knife from the worm. It's
such cool. I never would have thought of that in a million years.
It's so sick. It's great. And look, we could talk about that all day, but the movie does a weirdly interesting thing where we think that Chewie has died because of Rey's force powers. But,
yeah.
But then, in what I would describe as the number 5 moment in Star Wars, we find out that it was a goof up, and it was actually Chewie was in the other one. Chewie was in the other one, and as an audience, we're like, oh, we don't have to grapple with the implications of Rey's power. It was a goof up.
Can I make an announcement? I was going to say something else, but I'm going to stick with announcement.
Please, announce all day.
COVID-19, we're supposed to be fucking staying inside, wearing masks and shit. You know what I did?
What?
I snuck out of the house. Okay, get this. I snuck out when no one was looking. I went to a tattoo parlor and got Chewie was on the other transport tattooed on my right leg.
Got some fresh, some Wars ink, some new Wars ink.
Yeah. It says Chewie was on the other transport on my right leg now.
Yeah. Now when I dream, I often dream about Chewie being on the other transport.
I know, it's so like psychiatrists now have a new page in the book.
Yeah. I'll wake up in a cold sweat, and I'll call the love of my life, Allison, and I'll say,
not
Allison,
there.
She's not here right now, and she goes, let me
She's
guess.
been there for months.
Yeah, this is true. And
Sorry.
she goes, let me guess, and I'm like, Chewie, and she goes, other transport, and I'm like, yeah, again. And then we're both like, it's a good bit of plotting. It's just a good moment. It's just it's the number 5 moment in Star Wars.
You know how you know it's a good bit of plotting?
How?
It's brought up at least 3 times.
It's true, because
they fucking knew they nailed it. Like, let's just use it again.
For a minute, like as an audience, you're like, oh, am I going to be put in a position where I have to consider something about the character of this trilogy? And then they're like, no, You don't have to think about it. And it's like, oh, thank God. We can continue. We can just charge through this as we were before without, it's a great moment. It's the 5th best moment in Star Wars.
So far, I agree with everything.
Yeah. So number 4, and this might get controversial. Okay. So The Phantom Menace famously is not everyone's favorite movie. Some people didn't get the humor of Jar Jar Binks. Some people didn't really appreciate that, Lucas is using as you and I, we talk about this all the time. It's called the ring cycle of storytelling where,
right. Yeah.
Echoes reverberate throughout the trilogy into the other trilogies. It's kind of like a 4D chess thing where
it's funny.
Right. It's funny. It's good stuff. Often when people don't like something, it's because they're so fucking stupid that they're thick. They're like hulking brow is too dense. And I'm only an amateur phrenologist. So I assume it's from bad breeding, but they don't understand these movies. So the number 4 moment in all of Star Wars, let's be honest, at the end of the movie when the Naboo fleet launches its desperate attack on the Trade Federation ships, and little Anakin, you know where I'm going with this. Little Annie, though he's told explicitly by his Jedi minders not to run amok. You know how kids are. He gets in a starcraft and goes up and basically just kills thousands of people. Just fucking wipes them out accidentally.
Wait, aren't they just robots?
No, there's some space Asians too. It's space Asians and robots.
That's true. Okay. Yeah.
So he's just like mowing through like living beings, and he turns to R2-D2, who is he's the smaller droid who recurs throughout the cinema series, and he goes, "I'm going to pull up the line here."
Yeah, now, don't get it wrong.
Right, and what he says is he's just murdered. He's like basically committed his first real murders.
Yeah,
like
not first act of like genocide, really.
Yeah, and not counting pod racing, where you like I would argue it's like manslaughter.
I don't know. I think you're just in it, Yeah. Unless you're a Sebulba type.
Sebulba.
Yeah, say that again.
My favorite, honestly, this is my runner-up number 1 is us understanding acutely that Sebulba fucks.
That's true.
Sebulba, whatever misshapen, nightmarish membrane his genitals look like, he is getting it in something. And we're led to believe that the ladies like a Sebulba, okay? Let's call that number 11. Number 4. So Anakin, he's up in the Trade Federation, just blowing away these very tastefully conceived and rendered aliens. Just good stuff, George.
And so Anakin, real.
It's like I was really in space. In space,
Asia.
Yeah, space Asia. And Anakin goes, he kills all these people, and he goes, now this is pod racing. Shit. He turns. Can you edit that out? Okay, edit that out, and we'll start clean. In 3, 2, go. And little Annie turns to R2-D2 and goes, "Now this is pod racing." We know how much she likes. He loves to pod race, and he's murdered all these people. He's very excited, and he goes, "Now this is pod racing."
I still don't really. I think I'd have to talk to Lucas to really figure that one out.
That's the number 4 best moment in Star Wars.
I mean, I'm going to respect that agreement. It went over my head. I think I might be one of those brow men you were talking about earlier.
You do. You have I don't know. I'm not sure. Something about, again, I don't have my measuring tools on me. It does seem like your skull suggests some kind of genetic, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to say train wreck, but it doesn't look good.
I'll have to get it checked out.
You should. And if you're listening, look, it's such an important time to practice social distancing, wear a mask, be in touch with your primary care physician. And if you haven't had your skull measured, this is a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
We're doing actually part of the Patreon is going to be we will do amateur phrenology on you to tell you about your breeding simply from looking at your skull.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really good. Okay. So we've got to move on, Charles. I'm so sorry.
I know.
We've got to move on to the number 3 greatest moment in Star Wars history. And this one, honestly, when I was making the list, I was like, well, this has got to be it. This is a top 3 moment. So we all, the problem with Han Solo, the character, is that he isn't terribly likable, or there's not a lot to hold on to in the original movies. You're like, who is this guy? I don't know anything about him. Okay.
Right.
What is his deal?
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
And the problem is that, Harrison Ford is so attractive and so charismatic, and the performance is so good that it distracts us from bigger questions.
Right.
Questions that thankfully were answered in the film Solo, which improved the rest of Star Wars, because as with the Chewie Chewbacca moment, which is again a top 10 moment in Star Wars, we finally fill in this blank. Like, why did Han decide to call him Chewie that one time and then forever?
Okay, we never could have figured that out. We needed that.
To you and I, the moviegoer, it's inscrutable.
Right.
Okay. So the number 3 moment in Star Wars is when
number 3.
learn.
This is on the podium.
This is the bronze winner.
Yeah.
We learn in Solo, and this is what we call, by the way, a lot of people listen to the show, a lot of film students, okay? Bust out the notepad for this. In Solo...
Wait, you're saying they're not going to get this in school?
This is absolutely some street knowledge. This is shit I picked up from just my own experiences being an amateur film critic on podcasting. You may recall Han... he is trying to go somewhere or something, and they ask him what his name is, and he goes, "Oh, I'm Han. I don't have a family name." And then the guy goes, "Solo," because he's alone.
Yeah,
because he's like down. Literally alone. So what we learn in that moment is that Han Solo, his last name, is because he literally was alone at that time.
Wow, it's so fucking deep.
It's good because again, then you go back and watch the first one, and the fourth one, but it was the first one that came out, because you get the idea.
It's so complicated.
Oh, it's look, people like you and I would say we're top 9% of humanity, but Lucas is a oneer. He's a oneer.
Oh my God,
I'm not crazy. He's a oneer.
He might be another species.
Right. Perhaps one of his beloved aliens from the Star Wars movies.
Oh my God, do you think he's masquerading as a person, but this is all biography to him?
That would explain a lot.
I mean, how could you think this shit up?
The number 3 moment in all of Star Wars, we learn how Han got his last name, which is really good, because again, before, dog shit character, didn't much care for him, but then it's like, oh, it was Solo. Okay, number 2 moment, and this is going to be a little emotional and also Han related, when Luke sees Han's golden dice in The Last Jedi and remembers his friend Han because of his beloved golden dice. And as an audience, we said, those are them. That's the golden dice.
Those are the dice we know.
We love those dice more than the characters themselves.
Those are not just any old dice. Those are not the dice that the guy used to win the slave through his mind games earlier in the series.
That's a chance cube. That's
it's a different die.
Different die.
We know that.
Anyways, it's an emotional moment. Luke strokes the golden dice, and then later he gives the fake golden dice to Leia as a sign, but they're not real. We watch them fade away. But certainly fans for years, had asked, look, these movies, we love them. We love these movies. We love the movies. What ever happened to those goddamn dice? And then we found out what happened. And I think that, to me, makes it the second best moment in Star Wars, is when Luke finally is reunited with Han's dice.
I'm just tearing up over here thinking about it.
It's really emotional.
Yeah.
Because we see Luke finally reunite with those dice.
Yeah.
That's filmmaking. And that leads us all to the number 1 moment in Star Wars. And I think we all already know, but I'll just, I'll be the basic bitch. Excuse me. I do respect women. I'm saying it in the fun colloquial cut this part.
Yeah,
colloquial.
Wait.
I'm not saying okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying it like
no. You can just move. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut it all. No, shut up.
Okay.
Just shut up.
Fucking fine. I'll be the basic
boy. Just say boy.
Boy. Look, women. This is about women. This last one.
Cut this all out.
I know. Okay, fine. At the end of The Rise of Skywalker, Rey. Okay. At the end of Skywalker,
Yes, just say
she
it.
I'm a good boy. I'm a best boy. At the end of the movies, we finally see Rey go back to Tatooine, which is where all this shit happened earlier in the other movies. And she puts the thing in the ground, or whatever. She buries it. Maybe it's the dice,
the knife,
the two knife. She has two knife, and the whole movie, we learn she's the Emperor's granddaughter. And oh no, her name is Rey Palpatine, and it's, oh my god. And at the end of the movie, that lady goes, "What's your name?" She's like, "I'm Rey," and the lady's like, "Nah, you need to now say your whole name."
Fucking say it. Say it.
And we're all like, "What is she gonna say? What is the thing she's gonna say?" And then she says, "It's Skywalker." She just is one of them now, and
yeah,
as fan of the show, she finally. As I understand it, she becomes Luke. I don't know. She's Skywalker now, and it's good because those are the good guys and the other ones. And
no. I love that you really like. Me too, man. I love the naming parts of these series.
It's
the
good.
Chewbacca thing, the Solo thing,
thing.
Like those are great fucking moments and like really powerful storytelling devices that Lucas just reined in like fucking 100 horses ahead of him, and he's like, "You're my horses now. You're mine."
Yeah. And I think it's cool because J.J. Abrams, who did The Rise of Skywalker, in the beginning of the show, it's, "Oh, Rey is our friend. Rey, we don't know her name." Then, and this is called the rule of threes, my friends.
Should I write this down too?
You should note this down.
Okay.
This movie starts just Rey, boring.
That's
big
one.
twist.
That's one.
She's freaking he's the bad guy from the other ones. And he's the bad guy again, and she's his granddaughter. That's two. She now has a two name. And then at the end of the movie, she has a third name. And that's called the rule of threes. Also, if you look at it, and this is true, each set of movies is, in fact, is trilogies.
And you have three threes. Oh, my God.
So three
that's like
threes.
Wow.
She has three names. There's three letters in the word Rey. In the last scene, there are technically three lightsabers, I think.
Josh, I think I got to get the tinfoil hat on. This is getting a little scary.
It's honestly,
I don't know what we're going to uncover.
When you start finding these patterns,
yeah,
okay, they're all around you.
Fuck.
Okay,
yeah,
and it's true. And what we're trying to say is, Star Wars is full. It's full of moments that
I don't know how you pick 10.
Nerds like us, we could think of 100 moments from Star Wars. But these are the best 10. Just to reiterate, Han talks to Jabba and Mos Eisley. The Ewoks have fun dancing.
All right,
Luke and Leia,
they can rewind it, Josh. I got interrupted.
Chewbacca's is chewy.
There's, I did have time to make my own list. You've had a few lists now, and we've loved them. Everyone's loved them.
Well, no, the nerds have taken over. Now lists is how we all talk.
Yeah. So we have come to the end of a franchise for now, and this is the joy we do. It's that time to ask the question: when will it end? How are you feeling now? We've come to the end. We threw out a spinoff. I know you were not asking when will it end, and I don't know if this even counts. I think you can just stick with your last answer from the last episode, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
I think you're being very fair. I can't revoke my love of the series over this admittedly disappointing spinoff. The thing is, I come to these movies because I love Dom. I come to these movies because I love the question, how many more kids does he have? I don't know. I liked 8 a lot more than you did. I loved 7. I loved 5. I loved 2. The hit rate of this series is remarkable.
Yes.
We've watched 9 of these, and I legitimately like at least 4 of them, which I think is it doesn't sound that good.
But for movies that I would watch again, joyously.
Yeah.
I'd watch Too Fast, Too Furious again, today. I'd watch Tokyo Drift again, even though it's a strangely bad, has so many bad things in it. It is a great movie. It's super fun to watch.
Yes.
Fast 5, modern masterpiece. Furious 7, modern masterpiece. I would fucking watch 6 again because there's parts of that are fun. I'm not going to run out to go see it, but I'd say it has 4 winners and a couple of fun ones.
I would sub an 8 over 6 in my book, but yeah.
Personally, I know I've been out. I said no on 1. I was like, I don't want to watch any more of these. And then I said it again, I think at 7, being like, I think this is where I want the series to end. And then I asked again, when will it end, at 8, because I was like, yeah, this is not what I wanted. But you know what, Josh? I'm not asking anymore.
Oh my God.
This movie was so... What this spinoff has taught us is that by removing the people that we actually want to watch in a movie, like, there's no explanation for why they're not in this. They're still, like, in this world. It makes no sense why they're not a part of this movie. So we're like, well, now I just want to watch the gang do something. So it did this one thing really well, which is make me miss watching a Fast and the Furious movie because it was so bad that I'm now back in.
Well, I mean, I think you put it perfectly. Like, you take away the stuff that we truly love, and it's thrown into stark relief. So this had an ironic impact.
It did.
I can't wait for 9 because I want to get back to the actual meat of the story. So
no, and we'll see. I don't know if this is going to be the first one to do it, but we definitely have this rule where, yeah, we watch the movies, we finish a franchise, but if they make a new one, you better believe that's going to be the next episode you hear is about this new movie. So whenever this movie comes out, we're there.
We're there like you wouldn't believe. So this brings us to the close of this series. I have to say I'm a little sad. I think
well, there's a few
a
little bit of business we got to get through.
Can I? Okay.
I mean, yes, I want to hear what you say, but just don't forget we have a little bit of business.
I know. We're going to get to the business.
Okay, good. What were you going to say? I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure you weren't trying to wind this shit down and go to bed.
Well, we do. I mean, we do have to wind this down, and I do have to go to bed.
And that's why I'm saying, remember, we have a bit of business.
I'll keep it simple. Thanks for shitting all over this moment, you massive wanker.
Nice. Do you like that wanking motion that Statham does in the elevator?
Statham was born to do the jack-off sign. He fucking rules. What a baller.
All Brits are. All bald British men are.
His facial hair is fascinating. If you look at his stubble line and the way his beard connects to his head stubble, it's fascinating. I'm sad watching these movies about teamwork and friendship through adversity in this really challenging time was a really wonderful experience. And I'm sad. I wish to God we could see 9. Even if 9 sucked, I would be just delighted to see Dom Toretto be the steely voice of reason and emotional resolve to a disparate gang of misfits right now. I would love that.
Yeah.
And I miss it terribly.
I think it was a really nice time to start. Like, if you, like, the first couple episodes we recorded were at the very beginning of this, and we were together, and pretty sure the first one was the one where we recorded in your dad's basement slaughter room, and then we moved outside, and that was 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And like the week we talk about COVID-19, this is a perfect COVID-19 franchise. You got nothing to do, you got a lot of time to kill. This is like 18 hours of movie watching, and it's all about teaming up together, being with your friends. And while you can't do that in real life, it's like, this is better than a Zoom meeting. It's better than playing Jackboard games or whatever they're called. This is a good enterprise. I got to say, so the biggest bit of business, I know you're going to hate this bit of business, but I got to get it in, okay? Because I've spent way too much of my goddamn time talking about family.
Oh, is this the big announcement or no?
What's the big announcement?
Never mind. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Well, I spent a lot of time doing this, and I want to let you know that I wasted probably 6 hours doing this project. There's going to be an accompanying video that you can all watch, but I have gone through meticulously and found every instance of the word family in the whole Furiousverse. And I just want to give you some numbers. Is that okay? Are you asleep? What's going on?
I don't care. Just do it.
Okay, great. I mean, you just listed fucking 10 things from Star Wars, which I didn't really care about either. But, I played along with it.
You loved it.
Fucking loved Star Wars. I'm fascinated because we've talked about this a little bit already. We've talked about it a lot, I guess. But in the first, there's fewer instances of the word family in the first 4 movie combined. In the first 5 movies combined than in the 6th one alone. It goes 2 instances in the first movie, 0 in the second one, 2, 4, and then 6 comes along. You got 11 instances of the word family. 7's, you got fucking 14, and then Fate of the Furious has a whopping 16 uses of the word family. And then Hobbs and Shaw has 15.
Well, there we have it.
That's it, I guess. That's all the time I got.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was this is one of the reasons why this movie, and I think the last movie were so bad, is that they've been so influenced by this, trying to build a sense of family, that this movie was forced into a stupid little box because they had to deal with Hobbs and Hobbs' family and Shaw's family, even though that's fucking boring. Can you imagine a movie about Luke Hobbs and his dumb daughter and his fucking stupid family?
Dude, that shit sounds fucking
watched it.
Awful.
It fucking sucked because they didn't know what to do with this character. So trying to I feel like hopefully in 9, we saw them try to pervert family, and 8 and Cypher says family 8 times in one movie because they're so trying to be this is what you believe in is family, remember? And I just hope that we've learned from the numbers. I got the numbers right here in front of me. You can't fucking lie with these things. I want to go back to a simpler time, back in a Too Fast, Too Furious, where it's just about friends. Just about friends. I want to go back to a Tokyo Drift where it's just about drifting, you know? I'm done with the family.
This thing you've picked up on is, I'm not convinced by it.
Cool.
From the first movie, the way Brian's supervising cop explains to him the idea of choosing a family, that is the central structure of the entire franchise. This is just such a needless conflict.
No, but I'm saying it is. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm saying them demanding that we pay attention to it through the script, pointing it out every chance they get. I'm sick of that. I just want to watch a movie with my gang. And I want to feel the family. I don't want to hear them talk about it all the fucking time, okay?
Okay, yeah. Maybe it's lapsed into being a bit on the nose for the series. Sure, same page. Okay, so I don't really want to rank these. Let's just pick 3 that we like the most, and then do series MVP.
Wait, no, we gotta rank them.
Okay,
we can't fucking break from just because you're tired. You chose
There's 9
to do the
counting.
You chose to list out the 6 ways you didn't want to die and the 10 favorite moments of Star Wars.
Okay, relatively quickly, let's run through this. Okay,
go first.
Okay, my number 1 at the end of the day, having watched all of them, has to be 7. At the end of all of this, that movie has these metatextual layers and emotional resonances that are staggering. That a movie on paper, you look at the 7th franchise film in the car stealing movie, and yet underneath that reductive analysis, the death of Paul Walker, the seismic impact that has on the structure of the film, the way in which they address that real world reality in the universe of the film. It's surreal, it's heartbreaking, it's beautiful. It's a fascinating film, and certainly of this franchise, I think if you're going to watch all of them, I'd be very surprised if you don't walk away with that.
Yeah, I mean, our guest for 7, that was his first movie in the franchise, and it got him so into it that I feel like our friendship is partially about this movie series. So it's a super powerful film. It's one of the only movies that I know that has the death of a main character. They make the movie anyway, and it is so infused with the movie that it's like watching Boyhood. It's like watching a movie where real life is so a part of the fiction that you can't separate it, and it's unlike anything else. It's a fucking masterpiece. You can't
prepare for it. It's an insane movie.
And the car shit's cool, and it's a fucking perfect movie.
Yeah, it works on every level. And again, if you've watched 7 of these, this is everything you could possibly want from these movies.
So that's actually a great point, Josh. I love that, is that you could watch this first and be amazed and want to watch everything else, and you can come in it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And get to this point and be like, this is what I fucking want right now. It's a fucking special movie.
It is. Okay, which leads us to my number 2 is Fast 5. It is the door is kicked open, and a series that struggles to find its footing all of a sudden clicks into what is obviously going to be the entire tone of the rest of the franchise. It's one of these things where you're like, oh, this is the no turning back point. It is audacious, big, ridiculous, loud, emotional, funny, sweet, and strange. It is an excellent action movie. And I think, subtract the metatextual layers from 7 and it would be a dead heat, and 5 might win. But it's a narrow second place finish.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. 5 is my second place pick too.
From this point, I feel like things get a little all over the place. I genuinely like 8 a lot. I think, again, the fact that any of 8 works that deep into the franchise and the things that you're getting out of it. I love seeing Dom against the family. I think I love seeing Dom co-opted by supervillains. It's in a way it's stupid logic about the development of that character. I think it makes sense and pays off for me after 8 movies, and I think that gives it to me my number 3.
Okay. I love that idea. It personally didn't vibe with me. I didn't really like it, but I like that that's like when we're at 8, like what other fucking franchise can get to 8 and still do this shit that we like? For me, the CGI was a bit of a bummer. And I feel like the plot was not quite there for me. But for me, 2 is like, that comes from number 3 for me. I think it's, especially after 1, which I thought was really lacking in a lot of ways, to have to figure out how to deal with one of your main characters leaving the movie and to like figure out that they want to just like deal with this very small story about 2 people that used to be friends and they need to relearn how to be friends. It's interesting to compare it to 9. Where, I mean, I guess you don't have the initial high school shit, but like you have 2 enemies learning how to be friends.
Don't
That's
call
what
it
2
9.
is
It's
too.
not 9, you lazy motherfucker.
Okay, Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and
It's
Shaw.
not 9. We're waiting for 9. You shame 9 by speaking
I'm saying
so
9 in the
casually.
Furiousverse, Josh. This is part 9 in the Furiousverse.
I would say Too Fast, Too Furious is definitely a tight heat for 3. I think 8 being another culmination feeling. Maybe I just saw it. 2 is really good. That's why it's hard to rank.
Is that your 4?
Unlike any one of these, we've been doing this series for an eternity. So yeah, let's call that my number 4.
Okay.
Two rules. It has a few of the best moments of the entire series. And I'm a big Roman stan. I stan a Roman in this house. Stan rules.
It's going to be hard to pick a series MVP.
Roman rules. I just said stan rules.
Number 3 is my...
The song Stan rules.
Number 4. I know Sean is the worst character ever created for the series, yet despite that, the movie is super fun. It's got up until that point, like the cars were sort of boring. 2 tried to fix it. 3 fucking perfects and like imbues every sense of how cars move for the rest of this series. 3 is so important. Fucking introduces us to Han, the beautiful, hopefully love of my life someday. He's like a dream. So yeah, 3 is amazing. I'm just gonna go through the rest because at this point it's hard to do. Then we go to 6, then 4, then 8, then 1, and then Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay, for me it goes 3, and then 6, and then 1. 4 isn't that bad.
Yeah, I think 4 is better than 1, even though it's... I don't know.
Okay, 4 is better than 1, yeah.
We talked about this in the episode, but it's a better movie.
3, 6, 4, 1, Hobbs and Shaw, a movie that I could never talk about again and be fine with.
It's interesting that we have the exact same order, except you just bumped 8 up to 3rd place, but everything else is exactly the same.
I have really fond associations with 8 that might be blinding me to this or blonding me to this. I don't know.
I'm not saying
I took my melatonin before the record thinking that it would time nicely so that by the time we wrapped up our night hour, I'd be off to bedtime. And now as we approach minute 90, I'm realizing that my faculties are slipping away from me gradually.
If there was a series, got 2 things. If there's a series that deserves a 90-minute finale, that's this series.
It's true, especially when 35 of those minutes were spent talking about the 10 most gripping moments in the Star Wars film.
We could have just skipped that part now that I'm looking at this.
Tell you what, just cut all of that. Just cut all of it. Just cut it all out.
Garbage anyway.
Hey, everyone listening, we talked about Star Wars for a while. It's all gone now. Don't worry about it.
We trashed it. This is the first time we've ever trashed anything, but I think it was the right call.
Yeah.
So not only do we deserve to spend as much time as we need to on this fun finale for a 9-part verse, I think a melatonin energy is exactly sort of how we want to come down from this. It's fucking pumping pistons. We got fucking NOS fuels a bursting.
Pumping pistons.
Okay? All right? We got car parts that I've never heard of moving like fucking gangbusters.
Your alternator's taking a beating. I don't know. We finished the car movies. I'm sad.
That's like what fucking Paul Walker would have wanted it.
It's one more thing we're losing in all this nightmare. One more thing that's just stripped away from us inexorably.
So I know you're going to hate to do this, but I do want you to, I do demand of you an Hobbs and Shaw MVP. I know that this movie wasn't a total bust. There's some good stuff in this, and I need that from you.
Through. This segment has to be short. MVP is Helen Mirren. I always love her. She shows up, and I'm just delighted to see. No, MVP is Rob Delaney. I love Rob Delaney. We got too little of him. I'm a big fan of his sad domestic drama comedy. It's really good, and I like Rob Delaney. I think I have Rob Delaney energy, or I'm a big, loud, funny guy, but like it's kind of annoying he's doing a bit, but you do like it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And,
I think he's more lantern-jawed and traditionally handsome, but I like Rob Delaney.
And you know what? You're going to fucking hate me for doing this, but much in the same way that you are The Rock and I am the Deckard, you've chosen The Rock's handler for MVP.
And you picked Ryan Reynolds.
I'm going Ryan Reynolds for Hobbs. You know why? Because I personally think Ryan Reynolds is funny. I think he's a funny actor, and I enjoy his presence, but especially in a movie that is both trying to capture magic that it doesn't have and create something new. Just give me a scene of Ryan Reynolds sitting in a restaurant by himself. That's funny.
Yeah, I liked how many Game of Thrones jokes he got. That was good stuff.
You know what? He didn't
good
write
writing.
the script. Charles Morgan wrote the script, and he should
Chris
be
Morgan,
ashamed.
you fucking pedant. You watch 10 of these movies, you can't even think of the motherfucking guy's name. You piece of shit. Our listeners
Is his name
deserve
Morgan
better.
or Morton?
You absolute. Okay, so let's pick our series MVP, and then maybe I can go to bed. Is
Josh,
that fair?
this was your fucking idea, okay? So give me a little bit of something. Give me some spice here. You were the one that came up with this MVP idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's one of the few good ideas we've actually taken action on
Yes,
the
so
program.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, my
Wake
series
up.
MVP.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
yes,
the
we've had
man in
9
my mind,
movies.
spoiler, I said man.
Oh my God, Josh.
The man who brought me the most joy over the course of these movies is the great Tyrese Gibson as Roman. I love Roman.
Yeah.
Roman rules.
Great
2
pick.
is the closest we'll probably get to a full Roman standalone. But if there was a Roman standalone of him just saying ridiculously
Jesus.
sexist shit and then complaining about stuff, I'd be like, this is the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah.
He makes women uncomfortable. He
But
says
in a
funny
good
stuff.
way, apparently.
Apparently, he likes to have a good time. He doesn't know Ramsey's last name. It's just good filmmaking, and he's a good film actor. And I like Tyrese Gibson. And Tyrese, if you're listening, big fan. First time, long time. Keep it up and keep your chin up, buddy. You know, he's so good. He goes from being some thug that Brian knew from the street days to being a international super criminal who battles Russian separatists on a nuclear sub base and is the best. The whole Lamborghini thing in 8, I think, is great. I love all of that business. I love Roman. Roman, please come back to me.
So this is a hard choice for me because Roman's up there, Han's up there.
I don't know if Han ultimately has the footprint required to win
and so
series.
This is the
MVP.
thing: is Han is amazing in 3. He rescues 3 from being a bad movie, and for 4, 5, 6, and 4, 5, and 6, they use 3, his death in 3, to like carry some emotional arc to him, to have him like everything he does is sort of has a tinge of poignancy and tragedy because we know he's going to die someday. But I am going to choose a little man who goes by the name of Roman as the series MVP.
All right, that's fucking justice.
It's boring, but I agree. Dom bails at the moment of 2 because he doesn't want to be in a franchise. He doesn't want to be in a movie that's not good, and it's a good movie. And
Yeah.
Dom fucking Brian, he's sort of a boring. Like he's the straight man. He's boring. Roman, we see him grow, and other than like the instance in, was it 6 where he sort of becomes the Gimli, or I forget which one where he's like sort of not my favorite character, but he has like the most arc, the most personality, the most growth. He sort of is the heart of this whole franchise for me, and he gets the whole series MVP. He's going to get mailed 2 MVPs because we each get him one.
And I think we can close off our conversation on the entire series by revisiting our favorite line from the series MVP. $11 million, that's a lot of vaginal activity.
Good night.
Sounds like a whole lot of vaginal activity to me.
Or is that part of the line, or is that you?
That's the correct line. I said the wrong line first.
Okay. I'll edit that all together. Don't worry, man. I'm a fucking wizard.
definitely edit it good and make it sound nice.
All right. Well, up next,
what is it next? I completely forgot, and I'm about to either be delighted or incredibly disappointed.
No, you're going to hopefully be delighted. We're up next is a RoboCop.
Oh my God! Thank Christ.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we were going to do just the first 3, but then because of COVID, we were also going to do Despicable Me and the Minion shit, but that got pushed back. So we decided to take Despicable Me out of the picture for now.
Banana.
And while we figure out the rest of the year, I know it's so sad I don't get to talk about Minions.
Gang. The movie's pretty good. Spoiler, I like the movie Minions.
It's good, dude.
I snuck into it being like, I'm not going to pay for Minions. I'm too good for this. I'm an East Coast Jew. And then was like, oh, nope. It turns out I'm Johnny Everyman because I'm delighted by the antics of Minions.
So we scrapped the Minion thing, but it will be back as soon as they get it back on their list. So we are going to watch the remake / reboot / whatever of RoboCop.
Yeah.
To make space for the next series. So it's going to be fun. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's great to watch what is probably one of the best movies ever made, and then a series of really disappointing, poorly made films that make everybody mad.
So I haven't seen RoboCop sequels. I've only seen the first one and the remake.
Right,
so I'm excited.
The first one's perfect, and then nothing else comes close to it. But it'll be fun to dive into the Roboverse and learn more about our dear friend Alex Murphy and his trials and travails as the titular robot cop. And listener, boy, what a ride this will be on. And Charles, this is what I was trying to allude to earlier. Is this our last episode of May?
Pull
up the old calendar.
Great question. Let me pull up the calendar here
listener,
quick.
Sit back. Open up a seltzer.
Yeah, crack a seltzer open. And let me find the episode list. There it is. Yep, how many seltzers? All right, so... this is the last. This is going to be the last episode in May.
Okay, which leads us to our final plug of the episode. We are ready to bust open some exclusive content. I'll leave it to you for a little. I'm certain we'll know more about this in a little bit, but we have been working on our bonus content series. We're opening up our own Patreon. If you like the show. Look, we love you just for listening. That in and of itself is such a blessing. For an absolutely modest amount of money a month, we are so excited to bring you our new show, whose title I know very well, but just for fun.
Take over?
I'll let Charles say the title.
You're looking a little sleepy,
just for
buddy. Fun. So if you guys want to sign up, you can do it right now. It's patreon.com/WWIE podcast. For $5 a month, you'll be getting a twice-a-month special bonus series called Why Won't It End?
Charles thought of it, not me. If we get 100 subscribers, we'll both post nudes on the Patreon.
Sure, we'll do whatever you want. We're going to be looking at movies starring actors that are in franchises, either during breaks from the franchise movies or before they got their start in the franchise. We can't be stopped. We know there's more out there. We need to sink our teeth into something other than just franchises. And
let me say, I think we picked a couple absolute corkers to get the ball rolling. I am genuinely delighted. We watched 2 movies. Honestly, one of which is objectively a huge piece of shit, and I still loved watching it and remember
so much fun.
Better than several movies from this franchise.
Dude,
so
it was more fun than watching Hobbs Shaw.
Are you kidding me? If we're talking about the one I think we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the first episode we got is Vin Diesel's what they thought was going to be a smash hit franchise starter, the Last Witch Hunter.
He plays Calder, the Last Witch Hunter, and you wouldn't believe the shenanigans he gets into with the fucking 36th Dolan. This movie is a good movie.
You already remember more from it than you probably remember from Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I'm quickly losing track of what is real.
Our second episode is going to be starring The Rock in...
well, hold on. Starring Dwayne Johnson.
Sorry. Yeah, he went back to using The Rock again. I think that's a wave that cannot be stopped, trying to take The Rock out of that man. But yeah, we're going to be exploring Richard Kelly's disaster of a film that is, you'll find out.
One of the best movies I've ever seen.
Southland Tales. So those are the first 2. We got 2 of our main men from the Furiousverse, and we checked out a little bit of their early and mid stuff. So that, again, is patreon.com/WWIE podcast.
And here's my pledge to you, listener. I live in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, which features the historic home Arrowhead, where Herman Melville wrote Moby Dick. Chris Hemsworth stars in a movie called The Heart of the Sea, where he plays sexy, hunky Herman Melville.
Hermie himself?
I don't know. He might play Captain Ahab. I of course have not seen it yet, but we will be covering the sexy Herman Melville movie, because when you read Moby Dick, you're like, what this movie needs
He's an Australian hunk.
Some fucking hunks. So we're going to get into some hunk talk, and buckle up. It's going to be quite the ride. And Charles, may I ask you, please, can we stop podcasting? I would like to poop, and then I would like to go to bed.
I love how many of these episodes end with Josh needing to piss or
Do we
poop.
have any more closing business? Are we finally done?
No, I mean I was gonna go and finalize the naming conventions.
Oh, Jesus
But
Christ.
we'll save that for May of
please.
2021.
Shut the fuck up. Charles, can you do me a favor and play the last scene from Fast 7 where Brian drives up to Vin?
Yeah.
He's like, can't get rid of me that easy, little buddy.
You want me to do that right now? You might just
he's like, yeah, right. As we talk, as we fade out talking, you're going to play that scene where Vin thinks he's never going to see Brian again because he's got to go raise his kids with Mia in the Dominican Republic. But instead, Paul Walker's dead, and it's the last time we'll ever see his CGI'd face grafted onto a Paul Walker-like body.
And you want the Wiz Khalifa song roaring.
Yeah, definitely. Please, let's end this on a high note.
Yeah.
The saddest moment in the entire franchise. I love everyone for listening. Don't touch anybody. We'll be alone forever. I'm kidding. Friendship will prevail, and love, and family. I'm so tired.
Without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I lived my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too. No matter where you are, whether it's a quarter mile away or halfway across the world.
We all change, we all grow, a new lane.
The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here, right now. Salute me, familia.
Started out small to a real bond, cause we're brothers first. Cause we're been through a lot, but it ain't over, we gon' keep it.
You'll always be with me.
Change the game without even knowing.
And you'll always be my brother.
How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side.